Okay, hi Steve. How are you this evening or this morning for me?
Hey, Phil, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. Nice to see you, and nice to get going with this wonderful thing we call configurable opinions.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited to see how this takes shape over time. So we've got this first one where I see you sent me a PowerPoint talking about sort of SAP release timelines. I've had a quick look at it, but I'll probably get you to step us through it a little bit. um, just with our technology, I have to run the PowerPoint from my end, but so I'll tell you what's showing because you can't see it. But so people, so hopefully we'll get that right as we move through it. Um,
Before we get going, I'd like to remind everybody that what we're going to talk about are our opinions based on our experience. We're not being represented or paid by any company, or these are just what we know and we have learned over time. Um, and remember, opinions are like socks. Some of them are dirty, some of them are clean, some of them fit you, and some of them don't. I'll pull out my sock drawer and share all my clean and dirty socks, and you, on the other end of this, have to figure out which ones fit you and are clean enough for you to wear.
yeah, no, I think that's fair enough, and there might be times where even your opinion and my opinion are in two different places as well. So that sort of adds to the discussion. Yeah, and I think we probably should also point out that, like I know, like you've recently, um, moved out of the workforce, and you're being very generous and devoting your time to doing this. And there's, and some of your previous, can you just give me just a brief update just on the most recent involvement you had with, the AVC and SAP, and you know, so maybe some of the restrictions around that, just so people are clear, on some of the boundaries when we do talk about stuff.
Sure. So you're right. I retired in January 1st of 2020 was my first day as a retired individual, and I have been happily retired uh, from that point. I will say it's been really hard watching the stock market take my retirement savings downhill, but it'll come back. The nice part about being retired is that you can cheers everybody while you're quote unquote working, right? Um, but to get back to it, I actually was involved in starting the AVC Customer Council way back in 2014, and I led that group for 3 years, up until roughly 2018 when I turned it over to Kevin Myers on January of 2019. So he runs the group now. When I was involved in delivering customer requirements, testing, beta testing in the SAP environment that was given to us thanks to Johan Dorbach of SAP. With basically a full-blown S4 release that was hooked up to their development system. So my last actual hands-on touching of S4 and the AVC was with the 2002 release. So that would be the cloud release in February. I was testing that back in October and November of 2019. One thing you have to understand is that even though I do know some of the things SAP is planning on releasing, I absolutely will not talk about them. I will point you to places where you can go see the information SAP has released about them, but I will not answer questions about any future functionality that has not currently been released, nor will I discuss it. So for all intents and purposes in this conversation, we will be limiting our knowledge of what is involved in S4 and the AVC to release 1909 on premise.
Yeah. So, and that's because being part of that group, there's non-disclosure agreements and things like that. So it's a legal thing as well. It's not. So we don't want to, cross any boundaries. Okay. So no, I think that's good. I think it's important we sort of just set the boundaries and so people know what we can talk about, can't talk about, or whatever. So that's fine. So today's topic, we want to talk about the SAP release timelines. Pardon me. Because I think when I looked through the PowerPoint briefly, there's quite a bit of stuff in there that I didn't realise, and I know you're one of those people who likes to dig into, quite often into timelines and the detail and the history, which often gets lost. When you just see information, put out, say, quarterly or yearly. So I'm just going to switch to the PowerPoint now, Steve, just so you know where we're heading. So where I am, I'm on your first slide. So what we're looking at is the ECC6 maintenance timeline. You just briefly want to explain what, just in case people don't know, because they might not be involved in that aspect.
So, when we first started talking about this, we were going to focus on the AVC, and then February 4th, I logged on to LinkedIn, and I saw that the ECC6 maintenance had been extended to 2027 from 2025. I thought it was interesting because there was like this huge, you could almost feel it coming through the internet, a sigh of relief of like, oh gosh, we don't have to do anything until 2027. And I started thinking to myself, well, that ain't quite right. And I wanted to put this together to show you why. So originally, way back in the day when ECC6 was released, the original timeline for end of standard support was 2015.
Which is it? Yeah. So we're 5 years on. Yeah. Oh. Yep. So. Sorry, where are we? Sorry, I just got to get my. Okay, so I've clicked. So we're now looking at the 2011. And so here you're saying that at that point the maintenance was extended 5 years until 2020.
Yeah, there's a funny story that goes along with that too, because back in roughly June of 2014, I was on the Configuration Workgroup website, which we will talk about the Configuration Workgroup, otherwise known as the CWG, in another episode. But I asked a question of SAP, and I said, okay, maintenance is running out here. I mean, ECC maintenance goes away in 2015. What are you going to do? And a very nice gentleman from SAP came on and replied to me very politely. I give him a lot of credit. And he said, well, Steve, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. ECC maintenance has been extended until 2020. And he gave me the link, and I started looking at the link and going, wow, how did I miss that? And I did pull up the original link on the Internet Archive. And if you've never been there, you really should go there, because you can pull up almost any Internet page from any point in time in the world. And sure enough, I think it was in October of 2011, SAP had a press release that said, hey guys, we're going to give you till 2020. Ah, okay, so that was cool.
Okay.
Then
But
the
then,
next thing happened.
yeah. So I've just clicked on the animation again. So we're at 2014 now.
Well, again, thanks to the Internet Archive, I managed to find that web page. And again, it was in roughly October of 2014 that SAP came out and said, well, we're going to extend ECC maintenance until 2025, and we're going to introduce these things called enhancement packs. And that's so, you can be stable and you don't have big upgrades to go through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I found it was interesting that, we hadn't even got to the end of maintenance yet, and they've already extended it 10 years. And I'm asking myself, why would they do that?
Mm.
And in 2015, something happened which told me why.
Yeah. So I've just clicked again. So we're now at the 2015, and so we've got the first release of S4.
Right, and as you may remember, that was in September, so 1510 was that release. And I got thinking to myself, I said, okay, you know what, SAP released this software, and they had to have been working on it for a couple of years. They obviously knew that they were going to be using some type of agile principle, so they were looking at releasing a minimum viable product.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's what 1510 was. It was a minimum viable product for many, many, many manufacturers. But that also got me to wondering, is 2025 going to stick? I mean, yeah, it's 10 years away, but developing software like an ERP system, especially if you're going to innovate, takes a really long time.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So on the last one now. So you might want to talk about that. So we've got the 2020 and the extended. Now the maintenance extended to 2027.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I was disappointed and not surprised at the same time. Because I have to tell you, what I have seen of SAP and the AVC work group is this is not your father's SAP anymore. They're developing faster than I've ever seen them.
Yeah.
However, when you think about how long it's taken to get to the functionality in 1909, basically 5 years. So I mean, let's be blunt. We'll assume they started developing S4 in 2014. It's probably actually 2013 because that's when MRP Live got released. But we'll give them 2014. So 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And you look at the roadmaps go out to 2022, and you think, wow, are they even going to make that? And it's no surprise, secondarily, when you look at the rate of adoption of S4, to be blunt, it's pretty low. SAP claims to have 400 and some thousand customers around the world. And of course, that's debatable depending on how you count them, but that's what's on their website. And they got 13,000, I think, that have committed to S4 at this point.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. I think so because, like, at the end of the day, the market rules, and customers are obviously weighing up risk and reward. To me, when I started consulting back in sort of mid '90s, when I came into it. R3 was the new version or the new release, much like an S4 HANA really back then, going from R2 to R3. And back then I remember consultants who had been around for a long time who were coming from the R2 world to the R3 world. They were just saying, like R3, the functionality is not there yet. there's a lot more you could do in R2 than you could do in the GUI version of R3. And I found in the early days, like versions 2.2 through to 3.0F and things like that, it was pretty clunky, and it took a while to actually have a system that you could, from a system configuration point of view, do most things out of the box, I suppose. So I think it's a similar journey.
And I would argue that it was almost release 4.5 before it was quote unquote stable.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think my first projects were on 2.2F, and I didn't know much about SAP at that time either, but it seemed to be a battle. But yeah, I think once it sort of got through into the fours, it started coming right, and I think, because I think you've made comments, we've had discussions before. There's some really good functionality in S4HANA there. Whether it's fully resolved or not is probably the question, and that's what people need to probably consider.
So, and even if it isn't fully resolved, the question is twofold, right? Number one, when will it be fully resolved? And number two, what will they do after that? Because they've stated that S4 is going to be fully supported until I believe it's 2040, right? Long time out. So if you let history be your guide, I got involved with SAP in 3.1. So you've had a little more experience with it than I have, but from a VC variant configuration perspective, there has been extremely little change since 3.1. Yes. They revamped the iBase. I completely agree, and that was a great thing to do. Yes, they released they call it the knowledge base order bomb. Yes, they released Screened Up. But from a base functionality perspective, not much change. And when you look at history and you learn from history, you have to wonder, why would the AVC be any different?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's... we always used to say as consultants with R3 and functionality, you say, well, if you wait long enough, it will arrive. But sometimes the waiting is the problem. So, but yep.
My concern here is that the people that are leading ERP transformation projects right now are in their late 40s, early 50s, mid 50s, early 60s. And they've probably been down the road a few times.
Yep.
But you know what? They're not the ones that are going to be left with whatever they put in. The people that are going to be left with what they put in are the digital natives of this world. Because the people that are putting it in are leading those implementations. Those 40 and 50 and 60 somethings are digital immigrants. The digital natives don't work the same way that digital immigrants do. They expect different things. And I'm very concerned that by the time SAP gets to the point where they say, okay, we're done, time on, we're going to go on our way and do our very thing and just support this. The digital natives are going to come back and say, guys, you ain't done enough.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight this whole battle all over again.
Yeah. No, it is interesting. I think it is that transition. And obviously, like SAP are doing a lot of work in that, I suppose, in that sort of space of like customer experience and that, whether or not they are there. But I suppose one positive, pardon me, is they are starting to recognize the fact that they don't have the answers to everything. So they are, I suppose, more willing to integrate with other technologies and open source and things like that, because I think they have to. But I think we forget sometimes just how big SAP is. It's you're trying to turn a warship around that's you turn the wheel and it takes a while for anything to move sometimes. So
Well, that's what I say, and I really mean this. This is not your father's SAP, but I'm still concerned.
Yeah.
What I saw the AVC Customer Council do, and then after I joined the IPD Customer Council, that's for Intelligent Product Design, when I saw what that council was doing, it's like those two councils are a complete opposite of what you would expect SAP to be, because they're using design thinking methodologies. They're getting to the customers.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with those councils, and it's one of the reasons I retired. The majority of people in those councils are 40 and 50 and 60 years old.
Yeah.
So guess what they're asking for?
Yeah.
What they have.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to jump to the next slide now? Is that a good point?
Sure.
Okay.
So this slide goes back to when I first stood up in October of 2014 with the blessings of a couple of folks at SAP. And again, we're not going to name names. We're not going to do anything like that. But those folks helped me navigate some very interesting waters at SAP, and I thank them greatly for what they did. But with SAP's blessing, I stood up at the conference in October and I said, hey guys, if we want a new configurator, we got to get off the stick, and it's up to the customers and the partners to tell SAP what it is we want. And the response was overwhelming. I couldn't believe it. We had probably 30 companies at that time just wanting to jump on and more all the time. But at that point in time, the way SAP was approaching it is they wanted to make sure that there was interest from the customers in something other than LOVC. And if there was interest, could SAP technologically fit it into what else was happening? And again, I give the folks that I was working with just a ton of credit because they led that drive. And they ended up having to go to the SAP board of directors. And one of the things they had asked us for as a research group at that time was statements from our CIOs or CEOs that, we wanted a new configurator. And not surprising too many people, we had quite a few statements. So at the very end of 2016, literally, the end of December 2016, we got the word that the SAP board had approved a new configurator. And by February of 2017, or 2016, excuse me, let me get this right. Yeah, it was the very end of 2015, December 2015, they approved it, and by February of 2016, SAP had hired roughly 35 developers to start working on this thing called the AVC. Right. It was an official project at SAP. So we had, I think, 3 customer council meetings in 2016, 2 of them in 2017, and the first release of the AVC was in 1709. And at that point in time, the roadmap for the AVC ended in 2020. And it had all this functionality that the whole customer council would say, yeah, we want that. It's really, really cool. But then, as with most large projects, we continued having customer council meetings. And in the fall conference, the CWG, SAP came out and gave their development update, and the roadmap had moved to 2021. And then in 2019, it moved to 2022. So needless to say, I'm very curious to see what is going to happen in 2020. Will the roadmap move again? I don't know the answer to that.
No. Your guess would be, though. But
Well, there's two things, right? Either it won't move, and the functionality will not be quite what everybody wants, or it will move, and the functionality will get introduced later. I don't know which.
yeah, and I suppose I don't know, my take on it, it's sort of, yeah, there's probably two bits in my mind to the AVC. One is, at the moment, they're running as quick as they can, basically, to get to the same level of functionality of classic VC. So just getting the basic things, and I might just switch to the next slide, perhaps, because I think it probably explains it a little bit anyway, from what you've mapped out. So obviously, the AVC has sort of gone down that minimum viable product methodology, I suppose, with the way it's been released, and so it did step through various levels of adding, starting with single level and going to multi-level, etc., etc. So to me, the first step is getting to a level of functionality that people already know is there in classic VC, but then it's then getting other benefits, things the AVC can offer, that classic VC does not offer, and there's probably quite a big shopping list that people would have of what they would like to see, with wildcards and better ways to do calculations and, numerics to characters, whatever it is. So that's sort of my take on it from the outside, is just seeing how this comes about. But I suppose getting back to my main point is that you come to an end of a roadmap. Hopefully that's not the end to ongoing development.
Well, it's very interesting because, everybody I talk to about the AVC, they all want the LOVC functionality. And I say, yeah, I get it. No, I don't get it.
Okay.
Because, to be blunt, LOVC never satisfied all the needs anyway. But yes, when you look in 1709, I remember having the conversations with the development team, should we even release this? Because there's so little there. And my statement was, a company like mine would never buy it. But when you go to your board and they say, okay, you've been working for a year, what are you doing? You don't have a choice. You have to release it, right?
Yeah.
And again, I give SAP a ton of credit because they have worked very, very, very hard, and for the most part have hit their timelines on what they've said they're going to do and when they've said they're going to do it. But the point I want to make is that for those of you who are thinking, well, I don't have all my LOVC stuff yet, that means I can't use any of this. You're wrong. You are wrong.
Okay.
There are things you can do today in the AVC that you cannot do in LOVC.
Yeah. So
these are very good things.
Yeah. So I'll just jump in. So is this going back to your point when you're talking before about there's all that us old guys looking to just get what we had before, but whereas we've got the new sort of new generation thinking where they're going, well, hang on, they just see it differently. So um, it, sometimes it can be just a bit of a mind shift of how you view it, and so it's not, people go to what they know as their first thing, I suppose. Is that part of it?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Phil, for a large, discrete manufacturer, say for example, of furniture or windows and doors or something like that, maybe all the functionality they need is not there. But for potentially a headphone maker, or maybe a glassware maker, there's more than enough functionality there.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you know what's there? And how do you know what you should do now? And we're going to get into that in a lot more detail in one of our future conversations. But the thing I want to leave people with in this conversation is, do not stop your S4 project now. I already know of multiple companies that have, and it's the wrong thing to do. And if you don't have an S4 project, you should have one. And the reason for that is because there is so much learning you need to do about S4. Using the AVC requires a different way of thinking about how you will model your products. And you won't be able to achieve that unless you get your hands on it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point, and like it probably depends on each company. Like sometimes it's, I suppose, comes down to timing and budget and resourcing, and even just having the buy-in from the very top, that we need to factor in that at some point we need to move, and obviously in the earlier discussions around the maintenance cycles of ECC6, etc. In some ways, some customers will be going, well, I can wait a bit longer. But there also might be the point too, like early days of R3, it can be hard to get consultants and people to help move from ECC6 to S4HANA. There could be a skill shortage there ultimately, because a lot of consultants are in the same boat. They're in their moving into their 50s and 60s, and have we got enough of the new wave coming through as well? So it'll be interesting challenges, I think.
Yeah, I've always been of the opinion that consultants are good and they have a place. But you cannot stake your company on a consultant's opinion. You have to have your own internal opinion of what is happening and what is going on. And I look at some of the early VC implementations in the R3 or the ECC space, and some of those were put in by primarily consultants that had no VC experience, or very limited VC experience. Not all of them, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good VC implementations out there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bad ones too.
Yes, I've seen a couple. Mm.
This particular transition, when I talk about thinking differently about your models, sure, you can move your models over there and not change them at all. But why would you do that? Why would you want to pay an additional license fee to use this really cool new configurator and not take advantage of it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
nobody knows your models and your business better than your people. So I'm not saying get a project of 100 people going. I'm saying get a project of, depending on the size of your business, maybe one person up to no more than 10.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I would not have anybody on that project team that had any experience implementing the prior ERP system. So in other words, I put all my young people on that. And I would have the old people on call as internal consultants, so to speak,
Yeah.
because they have the history.
Yeah.
But they won't be there to live with whatever gets put in. It's
Yeah.
going to be those young people.
Yeah. I think I think this would be an interesting topic to explore in another session, like just that all these ideas around what you just said and migration of models and what to think about approaches, whatever it is, because I think there's probably a lot of uncertainty for a lot of people. Like a lot of people don't even know what the AVC is, let alone migration to it or what have you. So I wouldn't mind having a discussion about that down the track.
Yeah, and I think, we've probably exhausted the topic for today. So what I would like to ask our watchers to do is to tell us in the comments on YouTube what they thought of this, what they'd like to hear, and even if they have a suggested order of things they'd like us to talk about. But remember, when we talk about stuff, it's our opinions based on our experience. We're not being paid. We're not being compensated in any way, shape, or form. And it's only the truth to the best of our knowledge. It may or may not be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But it's what we know given the circumstances of this time.
Yep, no, I agree. So, yeah, no, I think if people just bear that in mind, and we're happy to, in the comments, or a lot of people probably know our email addresses and things like that as well. They may agree or disagree, and even down the track, maybe we can bring them into these conversations if they've got a particular viewpoint as well.
I like that idea a lot, Phil. I'd like to bring some third-party folks in from wherever, be it customer, partner, even SAP.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I think that would be a really good thing to do. Ultimately, as we've talked about with this forum, we've got no idea where this is going to go. We may just stay on our, what have we got, 37 subscribers at the moment, and we haven't actually done anything. It may just stay on 37, or we might get a good core of people. But I think there is a great opportunity to, with this sort of forum, you can go around the edges a lot more. You can bring in other opinions and other viewpoints, and with the technology we've got these days, it's a lot easier to do. Just got to look at us. You're in the top of the world, I'm in the bottom of the world, and we can do this these days. A few years ago we couldn't.
Yeah, the last point I'd like to make is we're not here to put the SAP software down.
No. Actually, probably the opposite, really.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion, I've looked at a lot of pieces of software over the years, because I'm kind of old. In fact, I was just out there looking at one of SAP's major competitors, their largest competitor, at their configurator the other day at their help files, and I'm shaking my head going, this thing is, I can't believe it. So, what we're here to do really is promote the adoption of SAP software, but to temper it with experience
Yeah.
and hopefully give those that come behind us a background of knowledge to build upon.
Yeah.
It's like paying it forward.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's, I think that's what we have in common in some ways. Like we have that desire to, um, fill in the picture. Like it's like paint by numbers. We're trying to add some of the additional colours to, make the picture look better, if you like. So I think we're common. That's our common opinion, anyway. But yeah,
And with that, I'd just like to say, if you enjoyed this video, please share it. Tell your friends to subscribe. Um, Cheers to you all. I hope you all stay safe and healthy through this crazy situation that's happening in the world right now with COVID-19. Take care, everyone.
yeah. Okay, thanks, Steve. I think we'll finish up there then, and until the next one.
Sounds good, Phil. Take care.
Okay, you take care too.